may have produced 3 people with the right stuff to make it into space, but can we get a bigger share of the private space industry?
That was the subject of a conference in Portland today. Here's News Center Maine's David Guilford.
Maine's place in the space economy might be closer to the top than you think. This is the inaugural Maine Space Conference, which doubled initial attendance expectations to 300.
It's Maine, people in Maine, but outside of the state as well, realizing that Maine is really serious in getting into the space economy.
Rocket launches might come to mind first. And that is happening here. But the conference's speakers want Mainers to believe there's a job for them, regardless of their interests.
That's the kind of things that the new space industry needs. And these people can use all parts of their brain, the physical side, the analytical side, and of course the creative side.
The newly formed Maine Space Complex is a collection of sites with 3 goals: launches, analytics, and research. Meanwhile, each state gets a federal space grant.
But they don't do what you're doing here. What you're doing here is really, really different.
NASA's Mike Kincaid explained Maine is bringing everyone along.
Every state does have a space grant. They get about $900,000 a year, but what Maine's doing is bringing together different entities that wouldn't normally be in the same room, bringing together state governments, universities, K-12, nonprofits.
Students were welcomed to attend, and they were a major focus.
We're here to create an excitement for STEM.
Some places, like Bangor's Challenger Learning Center, have been doing this for a while. Others, like Karen Paquin, are starting to see serious results. Paquin teaches at St. John's School in Brunswick, and around this time last year, took a suborbital flight with sat cubes built by her students.
I actually took on physical education in my school as a teacher, and so I have pre-K to 8. And I have first graders and second graders. They come to PE and they're not excited to ask me PE questions. They're like, Mrs. Paquin, what are we going to do when we get to your classroom with space science?
Science questions and phys ed, now those are results. There's much to be determined and debated with Maine's space economy, but there is interest, and the sky is the limit. In Portland, David Guilford, News Center, Maine.